My friends, many crazy tricks, glitches, and sequence breaks have been discovered over the years in gaming, and one of the cooler parts about speedrunning is that it motivates people to find the absolutely most ridiculous ways to break a video game in pursuit of beating it as quickly as possible. There are numerous videos detailing these strategies that broke or changed games forever and cut seconds or minutes off incredible world record speedruns. But this video tells a different story. This video tells a story about a strategy so absurd, so ridiculous, so broken, no, like it literally broke GoldenEye, that it caused one of the most controversial moments in speedrunning history and was immediately banned from the game. This is the story of Trent's circuit board strategy. Alright, this one is a doozy, so buckle up. September 18, 2012. A man by the name of Trent H posts claims of 2 untied world records with no videos on GoldenEye's train level to the Elite Forum, Secret Agent 122 and 00 Agent 149. This was shocking to pretty much everyone, since Train had always been the specialty level of Mark Rutsu, one of the great GoldenEye speedrunners of all time, and beating his world records there was no easy task. Now, Trent was a decent player by all means, but he was largely past his prime, and hadn't achieved an untied world record since the year 2003, 9 years prior. So it became pretty apparent that if these claims were to be believed, surely he must have discovered some kind of new game-breaking strategy. Making it even more curious, he shared a video of a new personal best on Train, Agent 111, 13 seconds off the world record there. So how could it be that someone so far off world record skill on Train Agent was able to untie the other difficulties? The forum exploded with discussion about whether Trent was trolling, inciting a riot, had actually discovered a new strategy, or some combination of both. Trent had been known to come up with some creative and strange strategies, but also known to sometimes be a troll, and this wasn't the first time he had pulled such a stunt. On top of this, the community hadn't yet really passed an official proof policy at this point, and in the years before this, oftentimes some other top players would claim untied world records, but take several months or years to mail off VHS tapes in order for another person to capture the speedrun record videos and make them available online. So it wasn't unheard of to have to wait until video of a new untied world record became available. That being said, it was annoying that Trent posted a video of his Train Agent non-world record, but was hoarding what seemed like potentially game-breaking strategies that could save tons of time. There were many cries to at least backroll Trent's claimed times until videos of the runs were made public, and many accusations and insults were hurled around at Trent and the various proof moderators of the rankings. But things would get even more conflagrated on September 22 when Trent posted testimony from 3 others, 2 close friends and GoldenEye players, Eddie L and Greg W, and rankings moderator Axel Z, who apparently wrote that he was shocked, speechless, and that no one has ever thought of this before. The supposed argument was that if the proof moderators had seen the records, they would be declared legitimate and ranked appropriately. Jimbo, who was sort of a demi-rankings moderator at the time, tried to do what he could to mediate the situation. He was close to Eddie and Greg and sent them a text asking if this was legitimate or a clever ruse. He received word back that indeed Trent did achieve these records with a new crazy strategy. So at this point, everyone was just mad that he continued to hoard information that seemed like it would forever change the way GoldenEye was speedrun. Not long after that, rankings moderator Axel Z declared that Trent was going to reveal the strategy after he got one more untied, which further angered the crowds. It felt as though a very small group of people were keeping a huge advantage to themselves. Furthermore, what point was there to even play the game at all during this period if a new strategy was going to come along and possibly affect every single level? That fear was prevalent. The last straw was on September 26, when Axel Z himself, the proof moderator, posted his own Train Secret Agent 119 in Untied world record by 3 seconds over Trent's claim and 5 seconds over Mark's proven claim with the known strategy. This was enough for many, who questioned the ethics of a proof moderator taking advantage of knowledge only he was privy to. Now, I don't condone what happened next, but it is what happened, and in hindsight, no one was harmed, so we can look back and maybe laugh. But here's how it all came out. Clemens was fed up with over a week of fighting, speculation, and general internet absurdity, and decided to take things into his own hands. AOL Instant Messenger, or AIM, was still the most common method of communication in the community at this time. Greg W., one of the guys who had seen Trent's videos, would often go by usernames along the line of Golden Greg 007 and other generic variants. So Clemens made a username similar to Golden Greg 007 and began messaging Axel, claiming he was Greg, using a different account on a laptop or what have you. Clemens messaged vague things like, "Wow, this strategy is so insane, I can't believe it. This could break everything," and convinced Axel to share the video of his Train 119 along with the strategy. Clemens shared his newly acquired knowledge and findings in a now heavily redacted forum post, where this is what was revealed. You see, on some levels in GoldenEye, particularly Train and Facility, you're waiting at the end of the mission until a certain objective is completed. Then you enter the deloading zone to trigger the fade out of the mission, completing the level. But what if you could skip all of that waiting time? Well, what Trent discovered, and I have no idea how, but he did, was that... Alright, there's no easy way to describe this, so follow along. You play through the level normally, but you need to have a second controller plugged into the second controller port. And not just any second controller, but a dismantled second controller. Okay, then, once you've reached the unloading zone at the very end of these levels, you literally press down on the exposed circuit board of the second controller. This has some absolutely bizarre effects on numerous levels in GoldenEye, and probably other games too. But on Train, this will freeze the game temporarily. Now, despite the game being frozen, some parts of it remain functional. Namely, the in-game timer that counts down on Natalia's hacking objective remains active. So if this takes 20 or 30 seconds, freeze the game for those seconds, then release, and the objective will complete, while the in-game timer will not pass, thus saving all the time it would normally take for the objective to complete. The level then fades out, and congratulations, you have a new Untied world record. And this could actually save way more time than just the 3 or 5 seconds Trent and Axel did. It could save about 20 seconds on Secret Agent and 45 seconds on 00 Agent. Truly game-breaking. I'm not joking about this. This was the real strategy that a small handful of guys hoarded for just over a week in September 2012. It worked the same on Facility, but since you're only waiting for Trevelyan to finish talking for Objective B, which only takes a couple of seconds, this only saves like 2 to 3 seconds at best. Trent did use this to get a new Untied world record of 43 seconds on Agent as well. Well, when this finally all came to light, the entire community unanimously agreed that it was the single most absurd strategy that had ever been conceived and executed, and everyone agreed that it simply could not be allowed to stand. I know some people out there think that all glitches are a form of cheating, but in speedrunning, the idea is that if the glitch can be performed with natural inputs of button presses and control stick angles, it's allowed. External or impossible inputs, however, are not allowed. Things like crooked cartridge, where you pull the game cartridge slightly out of the console and make the game glitch out. Not allowed. And literally pushing down on the exposed circuitry of a second controller pretty much falls in line exactly with that. Many legendary runners, including Big Boss Man and Carl Jobst, said they would leave speedrunning if this were to ever be allowed. Jimbo described it at the time as basically the equivalent of stomping on your N64 a certain way to get the mission timer to stop at 9 seconds and calling it a glitch. It was kind of a surreal moment when Axel Z posted that it never even crossed his mind that the strategy might not be allowed during the week of experimentation and secrecy, which just shows the crazy difference in perspective between someone who was let in on the secret and those who were not. Axel did get chewed out pretty hard for his part in this saga, and ultimately resigned as rankings moderator because of it. Though honestly, I can't definitively say I would have acted differently if I were in his position. Except hopefully gotten a better time than 1:19 with a 20-second time save. Trent did eventually reveal all he knew about this discovery in a forum post, and explained how he didn't think it would save time on any levels other than facility or train. It did some wonky stuff, like on levels where there is an in-game countdown timer, it could be used to get the timer to count up instead of down. Not useful for speedrunning, but interesting nonetheless. There were a lot of other quirks that would have been interesting to study in case they taught us something about the game we didn't already know, but by this point the community had just about had it. Everyone was just too worked up about the find being kept a secret, and were so sold on it being a banned technique that no one cared to keep looking into all the crazy effects it had on the game. And not only that, but nearly all the videos detailing Trent's discovery have been purged from the internet, with only Axel's Train Secret Agent 119 and Trent's Facility 43 remaining. In hindsight, I wish we as a community, myself included, were a little less hot-headed in reaction to everything, because honestly this game-breaking discovery was the most absurd thing discovered in GoldenEye history. But at the same time, I understand why it felt so personal to everyone that we were getting trolled and shut out of secret information others were using to achieve untied world records, and why we all reacted the way we did. So there is the story of Trent's circuit board strategy, the strategy so absurd that it was immediately and unanimously banned from the GoldenEye Elite rankings. I hope you enjoyed this wild story. If you did, you might enjoy some of my other stories about new strategy discoveries in speedrunning. Thanks for watching, stay true, and I'll see you in the next stream or video.